Hello, hello, and welcome. We're just going to give it a couple more minutes as people are entering from the waiting room, but we are so excited to have everyone here today for our mindful leadership and enhancing presence and performance. So again, this is going to be a part of our leadership coach series. So we're very, very excited to have everyone be here today on this topic of being a mindful leader. So again, we're just going to wait for a couple more moments as people are starting to gather in from the waiting room. If you have any questions, you can definitely put them in the chat. So we do have that chat feature for everybody. But yeah, we're just really excited to have you here today. All right. Okay, so I think I'm going to go ahead and get started because it does look like the waiting room has calmed down a little bit, which is awesome. So I'm going to do an official welcome. So welcome everyone to Forte. We're really excited to have you here today. Our topic for our leadership coach series today is mindful leadership, enhancing presence and performance. So our guest speaker here is Katrina Iobst. And so she is a yoga teacher and senior manager of client development at Baker McKenzie. So we're very excited to have her here today just to kind of talk about mindfulness and lead us through some of those practices. Before we get started, we do want to recognize that these programs, not everyone's familiar with Forte, and this might be your first time showing up. So I do want to talk about what we have to offer. So Forte does offer a variety of different types of speaking series, depending on what membership level you are part of. So the affiliate free program is today's, which is the leadership coach workshops, as you can see here. But if you are interested in different types of workshops and speaking series that we offer on our website, you are able to join and kind of do a deeper dive at the different things that we do offer those who are part of this Forte community. I also want to do a quick shout out. So International Women's Day is coming up. We're really excited about that at Forte. And so we have a couple of different free resources too for women and those who are allies. So you can see our next Changemaker session, which is free, will be on March 8th. We have a bunch of different gatherings for those who are Forte alumni. And then we also have a women's conference and career expo. So if you're looking for some professional development as well as a career expo for some job opportunities, highly recommend signing up for that as well. So that's kind of my housekeeping pieces for Forte. So what I'm going to do is actually have Katrina take over and guide us through this discussion on mindfulness. So I'm going to go ahead and stop screen sharing.
Okay. Alexia, are you able to see my screen?
Yes, I can see your screen.
All right, wonderful. Well, welcome everyone. My name is Katrina Iobst. Alexia, you nailed the last name. Thank you. And we have 30 minutes together today to take a look at mindfulness and how that relates to leadership. So before we get started, just a few more housekeeping items. Because this is a mindfulness session, I ask if you are able to please turn off your notifications on your emails and on your phones. Please utilize the chat function while this is a webinar. We certainly want to make this as interactive as we can. And then to start the chat, I welcome you to share your name and where you are joining from. I know Forte is a wonderful organization that spans many, many zip codes and countries. So we have Amsterdam. I am joining from DC, New York, Carolina, San Francisco. Wonderful. Keep adding those in. Virginia, Ohio, Texas, Seattle, Nigeria, Philadelphia. All right, Chicago, perfect. Okay, so welcome. Wherever you are joining from, thank you. And we'll dive right in today. So a little bit about me before we get started. My name is Katrina. I am based in Washington, D.C., and I work for a global law firm called Baker McKenzie as part of the client development team. I have been in the legal marketing industry for almost 15 years now. And if you have seen the TV show Suits, you can imagine what a law firm is like. It is fast-paced, it is always changing, and admittedly, oftentimes quite a bit stressful. If we backtrack to about 10 years ago, I stumbled upon my first yoga class. And it was in that hour alone on my mat with just myself and my body and my breath. I was hooked. I continued to go for the next day, the next week. It turned into months. And I realized all of the value that I was receiving by growing my own practice and decided I wanted to share that with other people. So I became a yoga instructor and I am now a teacher here in DC, and I also host retreats. So wanted to share my background for a few reasons. Because through my practice of yoga, I also developed a mindfulness practice, and it has helped me immensely within my legal marketing career. And that is why we are here today, to learn a little bit more about mindful leadership and to enhance our presence and performance as leaders within our respective organizations. So, what are we going to talk about today? Well, first, we'll discover what is mindfulness. We'll then learn a little bit more about why it is important, how we can each lead more mindfully, what are mindfulness practices, how can I develop my own, and then last, and maybe the most exciting piece, we will practice mindfulness together from all of the places that we are joining from. All right, first things first, what is mindfulness? We've certainly seen an increase in the use of the word over the past few years as we have shifted or reshifted our focus to mental health. But what really does it mean? So on the screen, you will see two separate but very similar definitions according to the Oxford Dictionary and also Merriam-Webster. The first is mindfulness is a mental state achieved by focusing one's awareness on the present moment. The second is mindfulness is the practice of maintaining a non-judgmental state of heightened or complete awareness of one's thoughts, emotions, or experiences on a moment-to-moment basis. Let's pause here. And as you read these definitions, I want you to also focus, if you can, on the highlighted words. So the first is present moment. What does this mean? It means noticing your thoughts, your feelings, and the things around you at this very moment in time in your current environment. That will be different for each of you depending on where you are geographically. Some may be at work, some may be at home, some may be in the car, or other places too. The second, practice. Okay, practice is something you make time for. It's intentional and it takes time. It may not look the same every day, but that is also why we practice. And the last bolded word here is non-judgment. This includes acceptance of our thoughts and feelings, whether positive or negative, and immersing ourselves in the present moment without evaluating it or trying to change it. Okay, so let's soak that in for a moment now that we have a few definitions to work with and work from. And with this better understanding of what mindfulness is, why is it important? Let's talk about this a bit more. There are many benefits to mindfulness. We'll explore a few of these in more detail. You'll see them on the screen too. The first, mindfulness improves both self-awareness and self-regulation. By practicing, we can learn to observe our thoughts and feelings, as I mentioned before, without getting entangled in them and without judging what they are. We see them clearly and separately. This helps us to regulate our emotions, which is also a key aspect of emotional intelligence. Mindfulness also increases our awareness of emotions as we learn to react in a more honest, open, and fair way. It also improves communication and connection, which in turn can enhance relationships. We become more present and attentive in interactions with others. We actively listen, and we respond in a more thoughtful and empathetic way. This can also lead to stronger relationships and more effective communication. Gaining clarity. Clarity is seeing what's actually happening and not mistaking one's own thoughts as the full story, which can often be labeled as a bias. With mindfulness, we become aware of our thought patterns and reactive habits, which are often driven by emotions, and this leads to continual improvement and learning with stronger collaboration and decision-making. Next, it increases flexibility. We all know constant change is common in today's environment. All we need to do is take a scroll on our phone or turn on the news. Having the ability to consciously shift and respond rather than react helps us to maneuver and make choices with more intention. With mindfulness, we learn to focus and shift our attention, and this expands our capacity to responsibly manage resources. This includes managing people too. And last but certainly not least, it enhances our leadership presence. This entails being fully present with people, with situations as they are. Mindful leadership is needed now more than ever, especially as we continue to lead during times of change and uncertainty. It requires us to refocus, oftentimes making multiple decisions at once. So now that we know what mindfulness is, why it is important, I want you to think of someone who you consider a mindful leader. It could be in the workplace, your community, your friend group, your school, your peer. What qualities do they have? What do you notice about them? How do they show up? How do they make you feel? And I invite you to add those words into the chat box. There is no right or wrong answer. This is just a brainstorm. Yep, they listen, they hear. Calm. Great. Compassion. Thoughtful. Pausing. They make you feel heard and welcome. They support. A few more. Empathy. Open communication. Safe. Yes. Okay. Feel free to send any more you want. Ability to self-reflect. Yes. Okay. Lots of really great answers and really strong qualities of mindful leaders. So here are more. These are not exclusive, okay? These are just additional qualities of mindful leaders in addition to all that you have just mentioned. Some of these may overlap. As we develop our own mindfulness practices, which we will get to in a moment, we are able to use and develop these qualities even more. So the first, be authentic. Communicate honestly and directly. Show up authentically. Create an environment where employees interact, they listen, and they develop through one another. The second is be present. Listen attentively. Get rid of the devices. Be here, be now. The second piece of that is being vulnerable. Dare to acknowledge that you can't know everything. And when you are present and dare not to know the answer, this will open the door for others to be vulnerable in the same way. Develop self-trust. By taking notice of your feelings and developing a deep trust within ourselves, we can acknowledge and assume responsibility for successes, but perhaps even setbacks too. Build inclusiveness. By practicing empathy, which I saw in the chat box, and being open to other perspectives. We only have one lens, and that lens is our own. Create an inclusive and safe environment in which people feel comfortable expressing themselves as they are. And lastly, but certainly not least, practice compassion, which I saw someone else also mention. The emotional connection between employees is critical to creating this sense of belonging, this sense of safety, and achieving a common goal. Consider simple gestures, taking a new hire out to lunch or coffee, saying hello to someone you haven't met yet, to connect on a more personal level. So, we've learned a bit more about how mindfulness can enhance your leadership presence. And now, I'm sure everyone here is eager to know, how do I develop my own mindfulness practice? Where do I even start? So let's revisit the definition of mindfulness. Okay, taking a moment here to acknowledge it is a practice in the present moment and without judgment. And let's move on to mindfulness best practices. How can we set ourselves up before we dive deeper? First, create the quiet. The world is noisy. We know that, we hear that. And technology is a huge part of that noise. Take back that control and start perhaps by limiting screen time, turning off notifications, or better yet, create a physical boundary between you and your devices. You can even put your phone in a drawer. I have done that. It's actually in there right now. The second, start in small increments. 3 to 5 minutes a day is great. Make it achievable and attainable. Third, embrace the 5 senses: sight, smell, taste, hearing, and touch. Each of these senses helps us to be in the present and avoid distractions. The fourth, for meditation, which I'll touch on in a moment, try using an app or a podcast as a guide, especially if you're first starting. Calm and Headspace are both great options. Those are just a few. And then last, don't expect immediate results or perfection. If you get distracted, if you miss a day or a week or even a month, keep going. This practice is here for you to return to whenever you are ready. And this is a reminder that mindfulness is a practice, it is not a destination. So, having a better sense of how we can set ourselves up to lean into our own mindfulness practices, I'm going to ask each of you to think right now, where can you find 3 to 5 minutes within your days to dedicate to your practice? And I'll ask you to drop those into the chat. During commute, wonderful. Morning, bedtime, before work, after class, lunch break, morning, waking up between classes, yes. Morning, walking dog, when I get home, waking up, yes. Lots of really great answers. Waiting at the crosswalks, simple, wonderful. So you'll see here there are a mix of responses, and that also ties into one size does not fit all. Creating a mindfulness practice is whatever works best for you, and that might change day to day. So acknowledge there's flexibility in creating that space, and it's going to look different for everyone. Moving on. As I mentioned, mindfulness can come in a lot of different forms. I noted yoga was a big factor in developing my practice. It might include setting time aside for meditation sessions. It could involve practicing during everyday activities, even waiting for that light to turn green to go. Okay, so these are a few examples of additional mindfulness practices. And as we move on, we'll lean into one together. So the first one is a body scan. Short, sweet, simple. All it asks is for you to scan your body from head to toe, noticing feelings and physical sensations along the way. The second, breath. Turning your complete attention to the act and experience of breathing, something we already do automatically, but how often are we paying attention to our breath? Next is mindful eating. Going back to those 5 senses, can we fully engage and appreciate, savor our food instead of eating it with many distractions? This could be as simple as taking a piece of chocolate, which sounds delightful, smelling it, and savoring it as you eat. Next is mindful movement. As I mentioned, yoga is great, but also simple stretching allows the body to become in tune with itself. And then lastly, meditation. Again, apps are a great start. They offer entry meditations that are no more than 5 minutes long. So these are just a few practices to name a few. There are many more. And as I mentioned previously, it's about what makes the most sense for you and your schedule and what feels good to you. So, what mindfulness practices are you ready to explore? And this may include those that you already have in your toolkit. This is just an ask, a brainstorm to share ideas with the group today. Walking, yes, very meditative, Amy. A daily 5-minute meditation practice, yes. Doing dishes, yes. Mindful scrubbing is a wonderful meditation. Crocheting, beautiful. Stretching, yes. Breathe, another breathing exercises. These are fantastic ideas. Breath work, great. Yoga, wonderful. Okay, so you can see here as women continue to respond, lots of creative and also accessible ways to build our own mindfulness practices. And this all ties into the previous response too, of how we can find just a simple nugget of 3 to 5 minutes. Of course, if you want more time, you can explore that too. Feel free to continue to share any more ideas in the chat. Okay. So, as we've learned what mindfulness is, the benefits that mindfulness can bring to our leadership, examples of mindfulness, and how to set ourselves up for a successful mindfulness practice, we have a few minutes today, 5 to be exact. And so, if you're willing and able and feel safe enough to do so, I welcome you to join in a mindful meditation. We will start with a body scan and move in to a little bit of breath work. Please set yourself up into a comfortable position. If you are joining from your desk, uncross your legs. If you are standing, please stand evenly into both sides of your body. And for those of you who are sitting, if it feels okay to place palms on your thigh bones, face down. Sit up tall in your chair, feeling your hips all the way up through the crown of your head. Okay, this is our foundation to move into our body scan. If it feels safe for you, I welcome you to close your eyes. If that is not accessible today, perhaps soften your gaze as an alternative. Now we'll close my eyes with you as we begin our body scan today, starting from our feet, noticing the right, the left, the energy down into the ground. Perhaps you lift one heel off and then the other, moving into the ankles, sending energy here and holding as you roll out into your ankle bones. Making rotations in both directions. We might hear some snap, crackle, pops here. That is normal. And then feeling that sensation rise into the backs of your calves, holding at your knees. Feeling the connection up into your thighs. And as you hold this space here, sending the energy and sensation back into your hips, feeling your sacrum root down and allowing that energy to travel up your spine. Noticing the awareness in your lower back, mid, and thoracic spine. If you found your shoulders have crept up towards your ears, which mine have too, allow them to release down your back and away. And let's take them up 2 more times to give them a little extra love. Lift your shoulders up towards your ears, down and back. And we'll do that once more. Up, down, and back. Feeling that energy travel into your biceps, through your elbows, into your forearms and into your palms, giving your fingers a wiggle on your lap. Let's come back up through our arms and holding at shoulders again, feeling the energy shoot up through the crown of your head towards the ceiling. As we can now imagine the sensations, vibrations within us, starting from our heels, through our legs, spine, arms, neck, and head. I welcome you to feel whatever you wish as you are in this space. And if your mind has wandered away, acknowledge and gently pull it back. We'll begin to focus on our breath from here, taking an inhale through nose. Take an exhale out through mouth. One more in. One more out. In and out. And as we come back into our shoulders today, if you wish to add the breath to the lift, inhale. Shoulders lift up towards the ears, exhale down and away. Create this rhythm as you wish, up, down, and back, using the exhales to release. Take about 2 to 4 more. If you want to make that exhale audible, please do. Last one up and down. Place your palms back on your thigh bones, face down. Come back to your breath. Come back to your body. And just notice where you are. Acknowledge what you feel, hear, taste, smell, and hear. No need to change, just be in this moment. We will close our meditation practice today with a collective breath in and breath out. You're welcome to flutter your eyes back open. They might be a little blurry. We did that. We connected through a meditation together for just 5 minutes today. So if you've not yet started your meditation practice, or if you are already within, know that it starts right here with you as you are. Continue to be gentle as you navigate whatever mindfulness practice you explore. I'll leave you with a quote here from our friend Brené Brown. Stillness is about creating an emotional clearing to allow ourselves to feel, think, dream, and question. Creating an emotional clearing, that open space within, is where the clarity and expansion will begin to emerge. So as we dove into mindfulness today and practiced a little bit of that with stillness, perhaps we can continue to emerge with clarity and a little more expansion. Thank you so much for sharing your time with me today. My email address is on here if you have any questions. I would love to learn more about how your mindfulness practice is going. And I'm also going to toss it back to Alexia to share any final updates. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, thank you so much, Katrina, for guiding us through that mindfulness activity. I know for me, like breath work has been very important. I actually use it to help me fall asleep. So it's kind of nice to like have someone guide us through that experience. So I know the chat's blowing up again. Ton of thank you for that. I did a lot of announcements in the beginning, but of course, if anyone has any questions, you're more than welcome to reach our professional team at fortefoundation.org. So I'm just going to put that in the chat. So we have a ton more of these types of leadership coaches coming up. We have a ton of different types of webinars and speaking series coming up. But that's pretty much everything. We're a little bit over, so I do want to respect everyone's time. So again, thank you so much, everyone, for attending today. And we hope to see you at future events here with Forte. Have a great day.